Good morning, grade 7s. Hopefully most of you have seen the first video that I posted yesterday about how to hand in homework. This is going to be your first lesson. So please take out line paper, write down today's topic and today's date. And it's going to be on these common multiple. We're continuing from 5.3. And 5.2, which was greatest common factor. Now it's least common multiple. I'm sure some of you already know how to do this, but again, I want you all on the same page, so I hope everyone will be able to understand it the same way that I teach you. So first of all, there are some vocabulary that I want to talk about before we start. And the one I want to talk about is what is the meaning of multiple? So we have a vocab section over here. Vocabulary. And first of all, let's start with the meaning of multiple. Don't laugh. There are some people who forget what is the meaning of multiple. Time and time again, I have students suddenly ask me, Mr. Chow, what is the meaning of multiple? And then don't ask why they forgot the meaning of multiple or they haven't learned it, so I'm gonna write that out again. The meaning of multiple, so the multiple of a number is the product of that number and any non-zero whole number. Okay, so that's the definition of multiple. So for example, i.e., the multiple, let me use a different color just to make things clearer, i.e., the multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on. It continues. Okay, so 3 is the product of 3 times 1. 6 is the product of 3 times 2, 9 is the product of 3 times 3, and so on. It is that number times any non-zero whole number. Those are multiples. Now, the next vocabulary I want to talk about is common multiple. Common multiple. And so the meaning of common multiple are multiples that are shared by 2 or more numbers. Okay, so for example, if I list out, let's still use blue here, for i.e., the common multiples of 3 are going to be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, let's go a few more, 21, 24, and so on. It goes on. And then the multiples of 4 are going to be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and it continues as well. Okay, so multiples that are shared by these two numbers is, now I'm going to go through these two lists of multiples, and then I'm going to circle the multiples that are common to both of them. So numbers that are in common, such as we have 12 over here, these are the same. And then next, if we continue up the list, we also have 24, that is also common. And then if you list out further, there's also 36 and 36 that will be common as well. These are what we call common multiple. And so if we put multiple, common multiple, and then we also put least common multiple, so we have least common multiple. It will be the smallest or the least of common multiples. Multiples of two or more numbers. Whoops. Okay, so it's just the smallest one. If we look back at our common multiples here, the smallest will be this one over here. Let's do green. This will be the least out of these three common multiples, 12, 24, and 36. 12 is the least, so 12 will be the least common multiple of them. Okay, so let's go straight into our first example. Example 1. Oh, and don't forget to copy down the notes. Let's keep up the good practice. Even though you are at home, you are not in school, I still want you to copy notes for your keeping. You can copy it in a notebook, you can copy it in line paper, or you can copy it in white paper if you don't have line paper. As long as you copy them down and store them somewhere where you can refer to it in the future, that's good practice. Okay, so example 1, find the least common multiple, also known as LCM, of 9 and 12. Now there are 3 ways of doing this. The first way is by listing multiples. And the second way is by prime factorization. And the third way, which is also known as the quick way, is by ladder method. Now again, if you don't know how to use the third way, or if you use it incorrectly, I would rather you do the first way, which is the listing way. I would say this is the easiest to understand. Okay, so if you don't know how to do the prime factorization, you don't know how to do the ladder method, then just list out the multiples. It may take a little longer, but in the end, it will still work. So find the LCM of 9 and 12. I'm going to start by the first method. I'll call it A, actually. Let's call these A, B, and C. By listing, so A, if I list out the multiples of 9, they're going to be 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, and 54, and so on. I don't think we need to go too far. And then if we list out the multiples of 12, it's going to be 12, 24, 36, 48, and so on. And already we can see our common multiple has appeared, and this is the least one. The first one that appears to be the same will be the LCM. So once we found this, then we can write down, oh, the LCM of 9 and 12 is 36. And then that's your answer. Now, by B, if the numbers are bigger and it takes longer to do, instead of listing sometimes would take too long, then we might want to use the prime factorization method. And so remember before, I would write down my 9 here, and I would split them into its prime factors, which is 3 times 3. I can write down 9 equals 3 times 3. And then at the side here, 12 is the same as the lowest one is 2 times 6, and then 6 is also 2 times 3. And so 12 is equal to 2 times 2 times 3. Now, just like greatest common factor, the first thing we do is we're going to circle the common ones, 1 for 1. And so that's going to be 3. And then, this is the complicated method. With the ones that are not circled, then I would write them all once. I would use a different 3, 2, and 2. I would write them all down. So I would first say LCM is equal to, the green one will be 3, that's 1 over here, that's 1 over here, and then there's another 1 over here times 2, and there's another 1 over here times 2, and then lastly, for the red one, the one that is in common, I would only write it once. Only once is enough, because we're talking about common multiples, okay? So 3 was already common, and then the ones that are not common, I would multiply them out together. And so if you multiply them out, then it will be 3 times 2, which is 6, 6 times 2, so 3 times 2, which is going to be 6, and then 6 times 2, which is going to be 12, and then 12 times 3, which is going to be 36. So LCM equals to 36. Okay, and then of course you write down the final statement. The LCM of 9 and 12 is 36. And then the last one is the ladder method. I'm sure most of you are waiting for it. It is fairly similar to the prime factorization, the tree method, but you will see there are a little bit of differences. So let's start by writing out 9 and 12 like this, and then like the ladder, we look at what are the common factors between 9 and 12. The first common factor that comes into my mind is going to be 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. For LCM, you would multiply all of these numbers. So the only difference between GCF, greatest common factors, and LCM is in GCF, you only, so let me put a note here, GCF only this. But for LCM is going to be all. Okay? So this is the difference between GCF and LCM. Please remember it clearly. Don't mix it up. If you find yourself confused, check your notes again. So I don't want us making any mistakes. So let's just quickly do this. This is going to be 3 times 3 times 4, which is going to be 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 4 equals to 36. So the LCM of 9 and 12 is 36. Okay, so that is example 1. I know I've talked about it very long, but it's the same for any other sets of numbers. Make sure you copy down all these notes, and feel free to pause the video anytime if I'm going too fast, and you can also turn on the automatically generated captions. I'm not sure if it's accurate or not, but it helps sometimes. Okay, so on to the second and last example, example 2. Example 2. This time we have to find the LCM of 4, 9, and 24. Now I'm going to show using all 3 methods how to do that, so that you can also refer back to this example if you get stuck in your homework later on. So 4, so I'm going to say method A. 4 is going to be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and I might have to go further for this. I'm not sure how much. 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, and I'm not even sure if this is enough. I'll leave that there. I might have to go back and do more. And then for 9, it's going to be 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, and 81, and 90. I'll stop there. And then for 24, we have 24, 48, and then we have 72, and I think that's all we need to go to. Now, if you first look at 4 and 9, the LCM will be just 36. Yeah, for 4 and 9, it's going to be 36. But there is no 36, so we have to go higher. So in fact, we have to go even more. Now you would realize that there is also 48 and 48 here, but no 48. So we have to continue. So what's after 48? We have 52, and then 56, 60, 64, 68, and then 72. So this is the correct one now. 72, 72, 72. Okay, so as I said a while ago, the listing method sometimes will take a long time if there are 3 or more numbers, or if the numbers are slightly more complicated. But in the end, you will still be able to find it. So the LCM of 4, 9, and 24 is 72. Now, on to method B. 4 is equal to 2 times 2, so that's fairly simple. So, 4 equals 2 times 2, and then 9 is equal to 3 times 3. And then we have 24 is equal to 2 times 12, and then 12 is equal to 2 times 6, and then 6 is equal to 2 times 3. Now, is there any common factor between all 3 of these numbers? Already, there is no common factors, because as long as there are no common factors between these, no common factors, then it's fairly simple. All you have to do is multiply all of them. I think for this one, let's see, how do you get, it is 24 times 3, which is the same as 4 times 9 times 4 times 9 is 36 times 2. Okay, so getting back to it, sorry for confusing you. Forget this. What you do at this stage is you have to circle common factors between either numbers. So I'm going to take my red. There's 2 and 2 here, and then there's 2 and 2 here, and then there's also a 3 and 3 here, or maybe I should use the red. 3 and 3 here. So it's going to be 2 times 2 times 3, and then just like before, the ones that are not circled is going to be 3 and 2. So the LCM will be let's start with the green. That's going to be 3 times 2, and then I'm going to take one of each of the red ones. So times 2, that's going to be this one down, and then times 2 again, that's going to be this one down, and then times 3, that's going to be this one down. So this will be the LCM. A little bit complicated, but that's how you do this. And then the next part is just multiplying it out. So 3 times 2 will be 6, 6 times 2 will be 12, 12 times 2 will be 24, and then 24 times 3 will be 72, so that's equal to 72. Yep, we got the answer. Okay, so I know this might be a little bit complicated, but this is how you do it by prime factorization. Next is by method C, which is the ladder method. We have 4, 9, 24. And so for this one, I do not think that the ladder method works for 3 numbers, because it's only going to be 1, and we have 4, 9, and 24. And if you multiply all these together, 24 times 9 times 4, it's going to be a little bit too big. It's going to be double of 72. So this one will, yeah, sometimes ladder method does not work. Does not work for 3 or more numbers. Okay? Ladder method does not work for 3 or more numbers, because you cannot divide 9 by 2, you cannot divide 4 by 3. And so, yeah, that's, unless you split it into 2 ladders, and then it becomes more complicated then. So this is lowest common multiple, and then your homework, in case you don't have your exercise packet with you, the PDF, so the PDF of the textbook, this is chapter 5, is already in PowerSchool class page. It's under the online home learning resources. You can download it there, and then just scroll all the way down to 5.4. I will give you the page number. So the exercise will be page 273 in your PDF. 27 out of 62. So let me just give you page 252 of the textbook. Okay, and this is going to be exercise 5.4, and then your homework questions will be questions 3, 7, 13, 17, 19, 23, 25, 39, 40, and 42. That's your homework. Please write your homework neatly, show all your working out, and also when you're finished, please take a picture and upload it into the class notebook. If you don't know how to upload your homework, please watch the first video which I posted yesterday, or you can ask someone who already knows how to do this, and hopefully I will see your homework uploaded by tomorrow, or maybe a little bit later. But as long as you hand in all homework, I will be checking them, and I will be putting down your effort marks in the my homework record for your grades. Okay, so see you all next lesson, which is tomorrow. I'll be uploading another video tomorrow. Okay,